Howdy everyone, Pocho here with an Age of Magic video, and in today's video we're moving into the final semi-final match of the AI Championship. We have Body by Zoo Team 30 going up against Team 3 Mermaid Natty, and with the coin flip, Body by Zoo won and he chose to go first. So we'll move into the bands, and with our first band selection, we have Artist from Body by Zoo. A solid band pick, not a hero you'd want your opponent picking. Remember though, Body by Zoo has first choice, so he has a bit of manipulation that he can use to his advantage, but still choosing to ban the Artist. And the Denia from Mermaid Natty. Denia works really well with other barbarians. However, even as a single hero in the leadership slot, she has that potential to rack up some rage stacks, which can be very, very dangerous, especially when the AI doesn't aim her as a first character. Moving on to the second bands, we had Mirrodin from Zoo and Phoenix from Natty. Mirrodin, I think, is a solid ban, especially in the AI Championships. He's essentially a weaker version of Rock. His stun has a very, very low chance of landing. I think it's 30% chance of stunning the enemy. He also has his AoE damage ability, which applies a dot, so he can apply a fair amount of damage. So I think that's pretty good. And Phoenix from Natty's side, Phoenix does work. You do not want your opponent picking Phoenix, so I think that's a solid ban. And then we have the Succubus from Zoo. I think Succubus is always a solid pick. She has 3 silences that she can, or she has a silencing ability that can affect 3 targets, and she has a whiplash ability, and the AI is going to use that. It's not like us. We never ever use the whiplash, but AI will use it, and it does a ton of damage. And the Gatekeeper from Natty, banning the top meta hero on the board. Obviously, with your opponent going first, you do not want to give them the opportunity to pick the Gatekeeper. You're essentially giving them the victory. So I think that's a pretty solid ban there. It's just not worth the risk. Not worth the risk at all. Maybe if she was going in first selection, she'd let the Gatekeeper slide to pick, but you can't give it to your opponent. So going into first selections, we have the Tiliana from Zoo, a solid choice, and we're going Mizuhiku with the Velandar from Natty. So Tiliana obviously does a lot of damage, especially when going up against the Arakan Undead and the Demons. And so yeah, I think it's a strong first choice. I don't think he could have gone for a better first choice. The counter from Natty is the Mizuhiku and the Velandar. I think that's a pretty solid counter. Mizuhiku applies dots. Dots do extra damage. You essentially want AoE characters to apply as many dots as possible. That's what you're going to try and build your damage around, is dots. So yeah, I think that's pretty solid. Moving on to the next selections, we have the Arakan Shadow and the Goon from Zoo. Arakan Shadow, monster character, anti-healing, accuracy decrease, just a lot of damage, has pretty decent evasion as well. Full Metal Goon, I think, again, is a solid choice. If he's not attacked, he's going to put up a taunt. He does a lot of counter-attack damage. I'm not sure how that works. Who knows? It's the goblins. I think he needs to be with goblins for it to be the most effective it can be. But yeah, like I said, I could be wrong. I just know that if he's not attacked, he will put up a taunt. So there's that. The counter is the Eraser and the Tahit. The Eraser, a very interesting choice, especially with the Tiliana on the enemy team. He is going to do a lot of damage with the Mizuhiku, going to put up a lot of dots, but that Tiliana has the potential to tear through him. So yeah, but then the Tahit, that's a pretty nice pick. Very nice pick, the Tahit. If you are running a dot team, Tahit does more damage to characters with dots on it. I think that is just a given. Why would you let him go? Just a silly pick not to pick him. If Nat didn't pick the Tahit, I think she would deserve the loss right then and there, because that's strategy at its finest. And moving on to the final picks, we have the Aratar and the Lokia. The Aratar, I think, throughout the whole tournament is a solid pick. He does pretty decent damage, can buff his stats, can heal himself. I think he is a pretty decent kit. The Lokia, however, not a fan of the Lokia pick. I do not think Lokia is worth it unless you've got Dark Elves on the team. Lokia loses a lot of potential without the other Dark Elves. And then Natty following up with the Rogar. Rogar, I think, a very good choice. He does have AoE, which again can apply more dots. And he has a taunt, which I think can be very, very helpful. Neither teams have healers, but both teams have characters that can heal. So it will be very interesting to see how these teams play out. And for the subs, we have the Sneaky Beaky from Zoo and the Arakan Spear from Natty. Arakan Spear. I do not know if he can apply dots. If he can, that will work in Natty's favor. But yeah, who knows who's ever used an Arakan Spear. And Sneaky Beaky. Sneaky. Hate him. Fucking useless character. Okay. Those are your team selections. We'll jump into the battle and see who comes out on top. So going into first battle, and Tahit starts off strong, putting 3 dots on Tiliana. Shield comes out from Mizuhiku. The accuracy decrease on Tahit. A bit of damage on the Tiliana. If Natty can take out the Tiliana, that will be really good for her. A lot of damage from Zoo's side, though. A lot of single target damage. The Rogar comes out with a taunt, takes a fair few strong hits from Zoo. He's in critical HP already, and Nat really just needs to apply more dots. The more dots she can apply, the better. AoE coming out from the Valandar there. They've lost Rogar. That might be a bit of a strain on her team. If she can take out some targets, though, she might be alright. The Goon falls, full metal. The Tiliana in critical HP. Zoo loses Tiliana as well. It's 3v3 at the moment. If they can take out the Aratar, they might be alright. Aratar can heal, so that might be a little bit of strain on... Oh, Lokia falls, and there goes Aratar. It's only up to Shadow left. Shadow could pull something out of his ass, who knows? He takes out the Eraser, but Mizuhiku comes through and finishes off the... who was it? Who was left last on the field? I don't even know. Can't see. I've already forgotten. But Mizuhiku, the Shadow, Arakan Shadow, he takes it out. Arakan Shadow giving the first point to Nat. Barely scraping through. That was a very intense match. Could have gone either way. But we'll head over to the contestants. They're going to decide whether or not they want to use a sub or not. And we'll move on from there. Moving into the second round, and Tahit is out the gate strong. Zoo has swapped in, what's his name? The stupid gremlin guy for his Lokia, and Nat has actually taken out Rogar and put in Arakan Spear. Since Rogar didn't do too much, I disagree. I feel like Rogar took a lot of hits from the enemy and allowed her team to do a lot better, but I'm not the leader of this team. Out comes the AoE, a few dots being applied. Zoo taking a lot of damage from those dots as Mizuhiku falls. It's all going to depend on the dots at this point. If Arakan Spear can get some damage out, maybe. Oh, he whips out some damage, takes out the full metal. Tiliana's still on the field, though, and she is a real threat. Actually not doing too much damage there as Tiliana falls, and then Sneaky falls as well. It's a 3v2 situation with 2 very dangerous characters still on Zoo's side of the field as Aratar gets some extra health back. That Tahit moving very, very quickly. If they can take out someone, the damage is being split, which is not good for Nat. She needs to focus the damage. Some buff comes out. Is it going to be enough to take out the... Aratar falls, and then so does Arakan Shadow with a final dot on him. The Valandar surviving barely. What a match. The Arakan Spear, I'm not sure if it was a good swap in or not. She still won. I feel like in the last battle, though, her team was better off than what it is now. Very, very close. The second point going to Nat. Both points going to Nat. Zoo claiming 0 points, unfortunately going to be eliminated from the competition. But what a run he has had. He has played exceptionally well. And we have our finalists. We're going to go over to the leaderboard now and have a look at who those 2 finalists are. One of them being Natty, of course. But yeah, let's go look at that. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Natty Nat moving forward into the finals against Pool Boy Mark Kendall, our 2 finalists. If you are still betting on one of these players, you are so close now to possibly receiving the reward for the AI Championships, which at this point I've forgotten. There was a lot. I think there was like 5k gold or something. No, that sounds quite high. There was some Troran shards, some gold, a bunch of things. I'll go back and find out soon enough. But yeah, you're still in the position to win those prizes. So yeah, good stuff. These 2 players have put a lot of work in to get to this point. It's going to be a very interesting final match, so I'll bring that to you as quickly as I can. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. I will answer it to the best of my ability. And wherever you are in the world, until next time, please take care of yourself.